Hi folks, Lionel here. Hey, I've done about 65 consultations in the last 6 to 9 months with construction and home services businesses. And you know, the one thing that I've found consistent with almost 100% of them, they had a lack of understanding of the importance of Google reviews and had very few Google reviews. In some cases, these companies, even though they're established businesses, have been around for years, lots of staff, they hadn't even claimed their Google business profile. It was really, again, hard to believe. So what I want to speak about here is actually one of the fastest, easiest, and low-cost ways to be able to make an improvement in your business's online visibility. So this is really critically important, and it really all revolves around getting Google reviews. One important fact to keep in mind is that up to 25% of the reason a company shows up in a Google search is due to the reviews that they have. Google cares about, number one, how many reviews do you have? Number two, what is the quality of those reviews? And then thirdly, the recency of those reviews. Those are all three things that really make big impact on how Google views your business and determines if you are relevant and important and providing a good experience for their users. So again, users searching on Google. So I'm going to share a couple ways to be able to drive reviews in your business, but I wanted to start off just explaining that this is really one of the easiest and fastest and most effective ways to improve your online visibility. Okay, so just before we get too deep in this, I just want to explain what Google really cares about and why Google reviews are so important. One thing I heard in all these consultations, actually, a lot of people were surprised at how valuable they were. Once they realized that, then they were able to take action, but you know, they didn't know that. So keep this in mind. Google is a for-profit business, and they want their users to have the most positive experience possible, right? So the longer that we spend in the Google environment, the more ads they can show us, the more revenue they can make. So keep that in mind. So think about if we have two, construction, home services type businesses, and one company has a modern, fast website. It's easy to navigate. It works well on a mobile phone. They have lots of reviews that, people are spending a lot of time on their website. All of those are positive indicators that show Google that this is a relevant and good quality business delivering value to people, right? Now, if you have another company that's exactly the same, but they have no or limited reviews, their website is old and slow and people don't spend much time there. Again, those are all negative indicators showing Google that that business, isn't providing a good online experience. Again, maybe they're great at building homes or renovations or HVAC, but in terms of a good online experience and people finding what they want and people that are taking time out of their day to validate them by leaving reviews, again, that's not being seen when those reviews aren't there. So if you were Google and someone searched for a custom home renovation company, near me, and you had to decide where to send that traffic, where would you send it? Would you send it to the one company with no reviews, or would you send it to the company that has a lot of reviews and they have a 4.7 rating, and the reviews have been consistent over the time? So again, pretty easy to answer that. Obviously, if you were Google, again, you would send the traffic, to the more reputable company. So that's why it's really important. So always keep that in mind. Whatever you're doing online, does it help show Google that you are a relevant, well-run business providing a good value, online to people and ultimately, in your day-to-day operations in your business. Okay, so now what I want to do is jump into showing a couple different ways to be able to get reviews really easily. One thing I've got here actually is this little sign, and it's called a Zappy card. It actually is very easy to be able to use. So if you have clients and customers coming into your physical location, then you can actually just put this at the front, and then all someone has to do actually is they just take their phone, they can hold their phone right beside it, and it has NFC technology. So what will happen is their phone will actually open up and go directly to your Google business listing. So you have to program the card in advance so it works, of course, but it's really as simple as that. You don't have to have someone Googling you and all this stuff. They just hold their phone there, it magically opens up, and they can leave a review right there. So again, that is a super easy way to be able to get lots of reviews. So something to consider. I do have a link in the video here if you want to check it out. You can. We've actually bought these and shared them with a number of our clients, just because again, they are so effective at driving online reviews in a very easy way. Let's say you or your techs are out in the field. What you can actually do is you can take this right here. You can actually get a Zappy card, which is actually a card, and you can have this program so it opens up your Google review listing. listening, and just give this to all of your techs or all of your staff dealing directly with customers. Again, all they do is they can take it out when they're asking for a review. They put the card near the client's phone, and again, magically, poof, it opens up and goes right to your Google business listing for them to be able to leave you a 5-star rating really, really easily. So I definitely recommend you check into this product. There's a number of other companies that do it, and I've also seen companies using QR codes and things like this, but based on all the different options that I've seen out there, this type of technology really is one of the easiest ways, and it's very low cost, one of the easiest ways to be able to get a huge improvement in your online reviews. So something to consider. Okay, so there's a lot more that we could talk about as we dive into getting online Google reviews, but I just wanted to share this one cool technology and cool system to be able to get reviews for today. But keep in mind, again, just as a summary here, Google truly cares about your reviews, so make sure you get them. They are incredibly important. I realize you don't wake up every morning thinking, hey, how can we satisfy Google and show Google that we're a great company? But the reality is they control access to our leads, right? They have the control of the biggest market in the world, and we need to be in good favor with Google. So it's really important to Google. Secondly, and this is equally important, it is incredibly important to your prospects. And I do realize, running your type of business, if you're construction, home services, that most of your business is likely coming from word of mouth advertising. That won't change. But what can change is when someone is referred to you, before they reach out, I can guarantee you they are going to Google and looking you up. If they are referred, but they can't even find your profile on Google, or you have no reviews, or you only have 3, but 2 of them are negative just because you're totally, absent in terms of dealing with Google reviews, that person is not even going to reach out to you, and you've lost the business before you even had a chance to try and win them over, right? You didn't even know that opportunity existed. So again, that's another reason why this is really, really important. So again, it's super easy. It's the easiest, fastest, cheapest way to make an impact on your business, and I highly encourage you building a process so when you finish a project, you consistently are asking for reviews and responding to them, because it really does make a huge impact in your business. Okay, so thanks for watching up to this point. If you have any further questions about how to drive online reviews or why they are so important in your business, please comment below. We'll look forward to seeing you in the comments.